My son proudly introduced his French fiancée to me. She acted sweet in English, but whispered in French to her parents, "I'll marry him for the green card, then take his money." They all laughed. I smiled, kissed her cheek goodbye, and replied in perfect French, "Thank you for tonight. I'll be sure to share this with immigration." It all started on a crisp October evening in 2025, right here in my cozy Austin home. My son David, 35, had been raving about his new girlfriend for months, Camille Dubois, this elegant French woman he met on a dating app. He'd had his share of fleeting romances, women who barely remembered my name, so when he said Camille was different, I believed him. When they walked through my front door that night, I saw why. Camille was everything he described. Petite, stylish, with this effortless charm that seemed to come straight out of a Parisian cafe. Her English was perfect, kissed with just enough of a French accent to make you lean in a little closer. "Mrs. Thompson," she said, taking my hands, her eyes warm, "David's told me so much about you. I'm thrilled to meet the woman who raised such an incredible man." I'll admit, I was charmed. Over dinner, she asked about the old photos on my mantle, complimented my roasted chicken like she meant it, and even helped clear the table without a hint of pretense. David was smitten, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. "She speaks 5 languages, Mom," he bragged, squeezing her hand. "She's been teaching me French, though I'm hopeless." Camille laughed, her eyes twinkling. "His pronunciation is endearing." We all chuckled, and for a moment I thought, this is it. David's finally found someone real. Someone with heart, brains, and staying power. I was wrong. So wrong. 47 minutes later, my world shifted. David stepped out to take a work call, leaving Camille in the living room. I was in the kitchen loading the dishwasher when her phone rang. She answered in rapid French, her voice low, assuming she was safe in her private language. Here's the thing. Assumptions can be dangerous. I spent 4 years in Lyon as an au pair to pay for college. My French is rusty, sure, but it's not dead. And what I overheard made my blood run cold. "Oui, Mama," she said, her tone casual, cold. "She's harmless. Old, desperate to keep her son happy. She'll be easy to manage once we're married." I froze, a dinner plate halfway to the dishwasher. "The house is lovely, bigger than David described. There are definitely family assets to consider." His father left them comfortable. Her laugh was sharp like glass. "Don't worry, I'm already working on the inheritance angle." Americans are so sentimental about family legacy. My hands started shaking, but I kept moving, letting the clink of dishes mask my shock. She went on, dissecting my family like we were pawns on her chessboard. "David's perfect for this. Naive, generous, completely infatuated. The green card will be simple once we're married, and the divorce even simpler. 2 years maximum. Then I'm back to Paris with American citizenship and enough money to live how I want." The plate slipped from my fingers and shattered on the floor. Camille appeared in the doorway, her face a perfect mask of concern. "Mrs. Thompson, are you all right?" she asked, rushing to help. "Just clumsy," I mumbled, kneeling to pick up the pieces. "These old hands aren't what they used to be." She was good, Oscar-worthy good, helping me clean up with this tender, daughterly act, while I knew she was plotting to rob my son blind. "Please, let me," she said. "You shouldn't be cleaning after hosting such a wonderful dinner." The irony was so thick I could choke on it. David came back, oblivious, beaming at the sight of us tidying up together. "Look at you two, already acting like family." Camille stood, disposing of the broken porcelain with grace. "Your mother is wonderful, chérie. So warm. I feel so lucky." I forced a smile, my heart pounding. She was a pro, every word calculated to sell the image of the grateful foreign girl in love with American family values. The rest of the night was a blur. Camille spun stories about her struggling artist life in France, her difficult childhood that made her appreciate David's stability. Every syllable hit his protective instincts like a bullseye. My son was eating it up, his eyes soft with that dangerous kind of love that blinds smart men. When David mentioned her visa situation, suggesting I might help with the bureaucracy, Camille's eyes flickered just for a second before she brushed it off. "It's complicated, but not urgent. The tourist visa's good for a few more months, masterful." She let David fill in the romantic blanks without lying outright. As they left, I watched them embrace by her car, her whispering something that made him laugh. He looked so happy, so hopeful, completely unaware that the woman in his arms saw him as a stepping stone to a green card and my family's money. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my late husband Robert's study, surrounded by decades of financial records, trying to piece together what Camille was after. Our house, worth close to $800,000, sat on 2 acres in one of Austin's best neighborhoods. Add in the investment portfolios, retirement accounts, and life insurance. Nothing flashy, but enough to tempt a predator like her. What chilled me was how fast she'd sized us up. One dinner, and she'd already mapped out her inheritance life. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment scam. This was cold, calculated predation. By dawn, I had a plan. First, I wouldn't tell David. Not yet. He was too far gone, and accusing Camille would only paint me as the jealous mom trying to sabotage his happiness. I'd seen enough drama to know how that ends. Second, I needed to know who Camille Dubois really was. I started digging Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Her profiles were polished but thin, like they'd been curated for a specific audience. No childhood friends, no family tagged in old posts, just generic Paris tourist shots. Her LinkedIn claimed hospitality management in Paris, but the company names were vague, the connections non-existent. For a woman in her late 20s, her digital footprint was suspiciously shallow. When David called the next morning, gushing about how much Camille loved me, my heart broke all over again. "I'm thinking about proposing at Christmas," he said, his voice bright. "It's fast, but when it's right, it's right. Christmas, 2 months away." My stomach twisted as I calculated her timeline. Engagement by December, marriage by spring, green card filed, then divorce in 2 years, citizenship in 4. She was planning to dismantle my son's life with surgical precision. I played along, asking about his proposal plans, all while my mind mind raced. Then he mentioned her parents were visiting from Marseille next month. They're traditional, he said. They want to meet us before anything's official. Traditional, my foot. If they existed, they were either in on the scam or had no idea their daughter was a con artist. I suggested he visit them in France first, but he brushed it off. They're coming here. Camille values family approval. Of course she did. Another calculated move to seal the deal. That's when I called my niece Claire, who works in visa services at the State Department. Over lunch at my favorite Austin cafe, I spilled everything: the overheard call, the fake backstory, the red flags. Claire's face grew serious. There's a manual for this, Aunt Margaret, she said, pulling up a government website on her phone. Marriage fraud indicators. Let's see how many boxes she ticks. We went through the list. Rushed timeline, financial motivation, vague background, emotional manipulation. Camille was practically a case study. Knowing and proving are different, Claire warned. These people are pros. They study their targets, cover their tracks. She advised slowing David down, doing due diligence, and checking for other victims. If she's professional, David's not her first mark. That lit a fire in me. I hired a private investigator, Marcus Webb, recommended by Claire. I also called my attorney to tighten our financial protections just in case. Then I called David. Sweetheart, I'd love to host Camille's parents for dinner. And you know what? I'm brushing up on my French to impress them. He was thrilled. Camille's parents? Not so much. Marcus looked like an accountant, not a PI, which he said was the point. The best investigations happen when no one knows they're being investigated. 2 weeks later, he laid out the truth at my kitchen table. Camille Dubois was Christina Marsh, a career con artist. She'd entered the U.S. on a tourist visa 8 months ago, using a short-term rental as her address. Her social media showed her researching American dating apps and immigration forums before meeting David. Her hospitality job in Paris, the company folded 3 years ago. Her references fake. And the worst part? Marcus found evidence of 2 previous marriage frauds in Nevada and Colorado, both ending in quick divorces and hefty settlements. Christina had stolen over $2 million from 7 men in 5 years. David was number 8. We move tomorrow, Marcus said, laying out a plan for Christmas Eve when David planned to propose. Agent Sarah Chen from ICE would join us for dinner, posing as a family friend, then arrest Christina for immigration fraud. The timing had to be perfect, after the main course but before the proposal. Too early and she'd bolt. Too late and David would be engaged to a criminal. Christmas Eve felt like a stage play. I cooked David's favorite meal, set the table with my grandmother's china, wrapped gifts that would never be opened. David arrived with Christina, who looked radiant in a red dress, completely unaware her con was about to unravel. Agent Chen played her part perfectly, chatting casually from the living room. Who's your guest? David asked. Sarah, my neighbor's niece, I lied smoothly. She's alone for the holidays. Christina's smile didn't falter, but I saw the calculation in her eyes. An unexpected guest wasn't ideal, but she could handle it. Dinner was surreal. David gushed about his future with Camille, while she played the perfect fiancée, charming and attentive. But I noticed her tension, her eyes darting to Agent Chen, her slight pause when asked about her visa. She sensed something was off. After the main course, she suggested leaving early, citing the weather. There was no weather, David protested, wanting dessert and gifts. That's when Agent Chen stood. Actually, I should introduce myself properly. She flashed her ICE badge. Agent Sarah Chen. Miss Dubois, we need to discuss discrepancies in your visa. The room froze. Christina's warmth vanished, replaced by a cold American voice. I don't know what you're talking about. Agent Chen showed David the evidence, photos, bank records, 3 identities. The woman you know as Camille Dubois is Christina Marsh, wanted for fraud across 7 states. David's ring box hit the floor. He turned to me, betrayal in his eyes. You knew. Before I could explain, Christina laughed, a cruel, empty sound. Oh, David, you poor stupid man. Did you think I'd fall for someone like you without a motive? You're boring, predictable. She admitted everything, studying his social media, faking her accent, targeting him as an easy mark. Then she turned to me. You think you've won, old woman? You've destroyed your son's trust and love. As Agent Chen cuffed her, Christina dropped one final bomb. The real Camille Dubois is in Marseille, 28. Clueless, her identity was stolen. Your investigation might have ruined her life too. The door closed, leaving David and me in the wreckage. He was furious. You knew for 3 weeks and didn't tell me. You let me make a fool of myself, I tried to explain, but he left, saying he needed time. 2 months later, I stood at Austin's airport holding a sign for the real Camille Dubois. Marcus had found her, a kind, genuine woman whose life had been disrupted by Christina's theft. Her bank accounts were frozen, her reputation tarnished, and her mother was battling cancer. I'd offered to fly her to Austin to explain and help. Over 3 days, I got to know the woman David should have met. Funny, honest, heartbroken from her own betrayal. David met her at the coffee shop where Christina had targeted him. They talked for hours, and when he brought her back, he said, she's real. 3 weeks later, he flew to Marseille to see her world. Not for romance, but for truth. 6 months later, I got their wedding invitation, a small ceremony in Provence. As I RSVP'd, I realized sometimes the worst deceptions lead to the truest connections. David learned to trust again, and I learned protecting someone sometimes means letting them find their own way.